The world, I think of it as, it's my term, I think of it as a post-creative world. Creative world was about creating things that didn't exist on the internet and putting it on there. But it didn't really require a big depth of knowledge or proficiency. It was just, hey, internet is so new, so I'm gonna shoot a YouTube video of my dog. Why? Because such a video doesn't exist on the internet yet. So we had that whole phase of people wanting to put stuff on the internet. That's what AI is trained off of. So now you have all these things that AI can basically replicate. So now humans are actually reacting to this by, ironically, being generative. So even more generative than generative AI. So what this means is, right now, most isolated data points and knowledge points exist on the internet. So basically, internet pretty much knows everything that there is to know, practically. It's good at combining these things and creating something out of it, right? Based on the prompt. So I could say, hey, ChatGPT, draw me the parallel between Buddha and Hitler. That's a really random query, but it knows a lot about Hitler, it knows a lot about Buddha, so it's probably able to combine some, draw some parallels, right? But now we're in a generative period where humans are trying to create something that can't be replicated by AI by focusing on what AI is weak at. So for example, like there's an Instagram video that I found really interesting. Bad handwriting. AI can't replicate that.
Wow, your handwriting is terrible. It's great news for
Mine is
you.
very, yeah, it's amazing. And also for visual artists, layered mediums, very difficult for AI to generate. So for example, I stamp on a newsletter. So AI is like, whoa, how do I get that aesthetic? Because it doesn't know how to do it. But to humans, it's so obvious,
What do
right?
you mean stamp on a newsletter?
So when you put a good job stamp, right? Like a star sticker.
Ah,
When you put that on white paper, AI knows, oh yeah, I can make a drawing of a stamp or like a
uh-huh,
sticker.
uh-huh,
But you have the newspaper.
uh-huh,
And then you cover half of the newspaper with transparent paper. And then you put a stamp on top of it. So it's this layered look.
uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
To humans, it's so obvious.
Yeah, yeah, what it is.
But AI is like, whoa, I have no idea how to create something like
Isn't
that.
that
So
just a question of technological progress? Like, don't you feel like AI is going to catch up to that really soon?
it will, right?
Yeah.
And then humans will find another weak point.
So it's like a race, like who can
Yeah,
get ahead of the other.
right. So
Mm,
AI wants to be as human as possible. Humans want to be not replicable by technology. But the more humans do that, ironically, the more it feeds AI
right,
about what
right.
it means to be human. So it's gonna keep on going like that, right? But this is the key differential point. I mentioned earlier that AI is largely combinatory. So it knows a lot of things about Hitler, it knows a lot of things about the Buddha. That's why it's able to combine it. Okay, but this actually applies to humans too. Every new thing is composed of old things. You can't have an actually new thing because it has to be built from something that exists.
Right. There's nothing new under the sun, right?
Right. But doesn't that mean both are the same? If AI is combinatory, like based on the things that it has, and if humans go through the same process,
Right,
aren't
right.
they the same?
Mm.
So this is the part that's important. There's a thing in computer science where we say, given a monkey with a typewriter, an infinite time,
Right. It'll write Shakespeare or whatever.
it'll write the entire works of Shakespeare, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Why? Okay, give a monkey like 10 months. It'll probably have one instance of the,
Right,
right?
right.
To be or not to be. Give a monkey like 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll eventually stumble upon to be or not to be,
Yeah. Just
right?
based on like probability. Yeah.
Right. So to AI, yes, the output is combinatory, but it doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't know what meaning is until a trained data set says, hey, this is meaningful. But we have an embedded, innate value determiner. This is valuable to us. This is meaningful to
Like
us.
every human being just like knows that. Yeah.
Right. And ironically, related to the topic of Buddhism today, this is what gives rising to binaries. This is what gives rising to suffering, right? Because we all want to do meaningful things, which has to mean there are meaningless things. And so we keep chasing the binary and so on and so forth. So suffering is a very human experience. But at the same time, the root cause of suffering is exactly what makes us different from AI, no matter how advanced it is. It's that we attribute meaning to things. So, humans have the capacity, once they see the Dharma, once they enlightened, they can see beyond their perception of meaning, right? Yes, I know that cockroaches are all void and formless, but when I look at a cockroach, I'm still gonna flinch. I can see that the cockroach holds meaning to me, but at the same time is meaningless when I look at it in the eyes of the Dharma. Humans have this capacity, but to AI, it's just the monkey with a typewriter with infinite time. So this is the post-creative world. This is what I call the generative world. With every societal shift, there's a new group of marginalized people. So for example, in the past, the strong ruled everything. So that means the marginalized people are weak.
Or rather, the weak people are marginalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then came religion. Even if you're the most powerful guy, like you have to still bow to the Pope. So this means people who are incompatible with the faith are marginalized.
Right.
And then came money. So people without capital suddenly marginalized.
Right.
So when we were growing up, if anybody was saying, I'm an influencer, we would be like, the hell is that?
Right.
But nowadays, influencers and content creators, it's an established job now. So being able to create content is really important. But this means there's a new group of marginalized people. People who are unable to create. People who only consume. And this new group of marginalized people is now going to evolve in the generative world. People who cannot generate human output. They're going to be the new marginalized group of people. People are going to want more and more proof I am having human experiences. It'll hit the scam market first. For example, mom's gonna get a text message from a scammer containing a video of me like, oh mom, I need $1 million. I'm trapped in, I don't know, somewhere.
Our
right?
mom would completely fall for that.
Right. But catfishing is as old as time itself. But
Right.
now it's going to be even more convincing. So basically, people in general are going to gravitate more and more towards, I want to make sure that I am having human experiences. But what if I can't? Then people will naturally gravitate away from me. And that is basically going to create a new group of people who are...
The new underclass.
Right, the new underclass. We need to think about new social safety nets. As health and longevity came along with humanity, we started creating safety nets for health.
Yeah.
And as capital became important, society started forming more and more safety nets around capital. That's why you have bankruptcy protection and things like that.
Right.
As the rule of law came along, people should be able to represent themselves in the court of law. So that's why they have
Public defenders and
public defenders and such, right?
Right.
So as we move on to this new era of society, we have to start thinking about what kind of social nets are we willing to create.
Oh, so what does that look like?
For example, a simple one I can think of is if your identity has been completely compromised, right? So kind of like witness protection, but for the digital age. In Korea, you don't really see a lot of clerks working at the shops, right? It's all point of sales. So it's all screens. So the elderly, I know that this is a problem in Korea, elderly can't even buy movie tickets or get a hamburger. So basically, more digital literacy is sorely needed
So whoever
as a safety
doesn't
net.
have it is underclass. Yeah.
So these are some of the things that we need to think about as a society. And, you and I have been, if AI is going to be around to everyone, if we're going to be in this era whether we like it or not, and to be honest, I think we're kind of crossed the line.
The ship has sailed.
Yes, it's cool to generate text for awkward social situations. But how do we want to steward the usage of AI as conscious people?
That is the question that I wanted to ask you to answer from a Buddhist perspective.
Right. So if you're thinking about using AI responsibly, you have to start thinking about how can people who are less advantaged than me take advantage of the things that I'm doing right now. These are things that doesn't even necessarily apply exclusively to AI, right? So if I am getting good healthcare and I save a lot of money because I have good insurance, then maybe it's a good idea to donate some of my savings to third world countries where there aren't a lot of reliable medical resources, right?
Right.
So yes, I know that societally it's important for the billionaire class to do more of these things. But again, I like to be the owner of my life. I'm
Right.
not gonna wait for everyone else to change their minds. I'm gonna start taking responsibility for my life.
Yeah.
So if I am going to use AI, how do I use it for the public good? How do I leave the earth a better place
Yes.
than before I used AI? These are the things that I like to keep in mind as I engage, using AI.
So what's the
Right.
answer for you?
So for me, I like to reduce the digital footprint of people. So every once in a while, I ask people to delete my emails.
Mm.
Why? Because email storage takes up a lot of space digitally, right? And everything's copied over so many times. What a lot of people do is purchase platforms and sign up for things that they don't necessarily use. So every time you sign up for a platform, you think it's just that platform, right? But the browser that you used, what computer you're using, what location you used to log into this site, what other sites you visited before coming to this platform. These cookies are all multiplied and multiplied.
Mm.
So why do I simplify the technology stack for people? It's because I want to reduce the global footprint of technology. When I do technical work for people, yes, it generates tokens. But but if I can help people delete their Kajabi account, if I can help people delete their Squarespace account, if I can help people delete their, Stan Store school account, then that amount of cookies, that amount of cache, that amount of information can be safely removed.
It's kind of like it's like people trying to be carbon neutral. You're trying to be like
Right.
digital footprint neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
It may be a hefty one-time cost, but think about how gyms make money. Like New Year, hey, New Year's resolution, bunch of people sign up and then they never come, they
Yeah.
never cancel.
Yeah.
So just like that, like you pay for all these platforms and every once in a while you log in, which refreshes the, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
they need to send emails to you. And when you
Yeah.
open the emails, it sends them back like, hey, this person.
Open the
So
email. Yeah.
so even if you don't use the platform, the footprint that you keep on generating is a great amount accumulated over time. So if I can help you offload of these platforms, it cuts that big remaining tail off cleanly. So that's sort of the way I like to approach things. Like, how many platforms can I help you offload of? And it turns out it saves your money too. It's like a
Yeah,
win-win.
totally. Right.
Right. Another thing is when I onboard people onto my methodology, I don't give people entire computers to work on. I rent a small subset of a computer. So that way, multiple tenants can just occupy one computer. That ends up saving more computer space. So digital real estate, so to speak.
Mm.
So if, for example, you and I both have websites, and it used to use two entire computers.
Mm-hmm.
But now we share a computer with 10 other people and
Mm.
achieve the same thing, which frees up a lot of computers over time, right? And this is going to reduce, hopefully, when this trend continues, reduce the amount of hardware that companies end up buying so that it never reaches the consumers. So like
Mm.
graphic cards, they get released, but Google buys 10,000 of them. There's no more left for the consumers. This is something that happens all the time these days. So by reducing the digital real estate, you reduce the demand for more and more and more hardware. So yes, I am using AI, but for a greater good. We're talking about how to be responsible, future-facing stewards of AI, right?
Right, right.
So one of the ways of taking responsibility for personal use of AI is thinking about how I can suggest bigger social safety nets for people who cannot generate new information, human information, and how to use AI for the greater good. These are things that I want everybody to start thinking about.
Ah, okay. Wait, hold on. I'm confused. You're using AI to help people reduce
Reduce
their
their
digital footprint.
digital footprint.
Oh, I see, I see. Which is kind of like trying to achieve carbon neutrality.
Right, right,
Okay. And it's like ideal if you have like net negative, right?
right.
Is that even possible?
After a certain point when you stop, then it could be. Or like if this is something that needs to be analyzed over time.
Okay. So then I really liked what you said about karma. Can you talk about that? The particular Buddhist way of understanding where we are as a society with AI.
So in Buddhism, there's a concept of dependent origination. So everything happens for a reason. It is a greatly oversimplified way of saying this. But if I have tomatoes, 100% there used to be a tomato seed. But it doesn't necessarily work the other way. Just because I have tomato seeds doesn't mean I'm gonna 100% have tomatoes. But the other way, it always works.
There's always a cause.
Right. So we have AI. If you have a problem with AI, something that's very important to think about is, why do we have it? And moreover, there's tons of new things that get discovered but don't get used. Why did we come to a state where we find AI valuable?
Hmm. And if you
Help.
personally are like, I don't think AI is valuable, the truth is that the use rate, like across the world, is staggering. So people are
Right.
voting with their behavior.
So it makes a lot of things accessible to you, right? Like, oh my god, my boss is expecting a professional reply, but oh, I'm socially awkward. How do I navigate out of this situation? Well,
Yeah.
now you can. Oh, I have a job with the second language, but I don't understand what this text is meaning. Like, and I need to reply to the client. Oh, okay, so I can just use that.
Mm.
So it makes a lot of things easier. And as a society, we value ease. So ease is just one example. But as a society, we value a lot of different things that ultimately led to AI. This is why we both said AI is kind of here to stay, is because what makes AI valuable in the first place never changed. Yes, environmental impact is bad. Yes, people losing their voice and just continuously relying on AI is bad. Yes, it is enabling more data theft by corporations. Yes, that's bad. Those are all things that we get to recognize from the present, right?
Yeah.
But we did nothing to change our existing value system of I want things to be easy. I want things to look prettier than I
Right.
can make.
Or like, I want to look good.
I want to look good.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I
I want to
want
be
to
more productive.
right, I want to
Right.
be more productive. I want to
Right.
get more things done faster.
Yeah. Because all those
So
cultural impulses are exactly what led to the rise of AI.
So if that doesn't change, there is no reason for AI to change. You're just going to notice more problems with it. So if you want to dismantle AI from within, like Operation Valkyrie style, you have to start thinking about the value system that you inherited from society, i.e.,
Mm,
karma,
mm.
and you have to propagate your values to the world, saying, hey, fast progress and beauty and productivity, these aren't the only things that matter. But again, as a
Because
society,
it's like I'm saying, oh, because of the environmental impact and the theft, I'm against AI. But you in your personal life, you still want things to be easy for yourself. You still want things to be pretty. You want to look impressive. Then we're at odds here, is what you're saying.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, the poor animals in the, factory farming system, and oh no, the cows are dying, and then goes out to eat a big steak. So basically, as long as the desire for meat doesn't change, yes, you can point out 10,000 problems with the,
Or
meat
rather, I would
industry.
say cheap meat. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can critique the, diet industry 10,000 times, but if you still want to look skinny, nothing's gonna change.
Because those corporations are going to endlessly feed into that human desire. Yeah.
Right. So I like to explain karma with changing your dominant hand.
Mm.
changing your dominant hand requires two things. It requires skill development and proficiency improvement in the new dominant hand, but also you need to stop using your old dominant hand. Many people just think about, I want to use my left hand, without thinking about how do I change or stop the relationship that I have with my right hand.
Uh-huh. Well, it's interesting though, because okay, I'm a coach, you're a coach, we both love coaching. And when you and I talked about a few days ago, you're not like categorical anti-AI anymore.
Used to be. Used
Used
to
to
be,
be.
yeah.
So tell me what changed in your thought process as someone who used to be a software engineer.
So I overestimated and I underestimated at the same time
Okay.
AI. So I was unilaterally against it because I value challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I like difficult things because it helps me see myself. It helps me understand myself. It helps me experience my life as a human being. I was against AI because I thought if I use AI, it's going to make so many things so much easier.
And I don't want that. Yeah.
I don't want that. Turns out, some things will still be difficult and challenging even if you use AI. So for that, I have greatly overestimated AI.
Okay.
But I have also underestimated how much of an unexpected impact it can have.
Like
So
unexpected positive impact.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at first, I was just thinking, I'm gonna give a simplified example. Hey, what if I wanted to learn how to cook a really nice steak, right? Like, what should the internal temperature be? How should I season it? So I go in just thinking about steak. But as I'm talking to it, I learn a new knife technique. I learned different seasoning technique. I learned the qualities of different pans. So there's a lot of side effects that come from the primary objective that I have severely underestimated. Now I can see that there's more nuances to using AI. The primary reason why I started using AI is because I recognized that stubbornness and that insistence on myself. No, I'm 100% right. And as a Buddhist, we always have to be wary of that kind of certainty and absolutism, right? So I needed to challenge myself in that regard. And the most important thing that I want to highlight is when you're walking, you get to look at the individual flowers in your neighborhood. You get to see the little cracks in the blocks of your sidewalk. You get to see the seasons change, how a new plant is sprouting. These are things you notice when you walk. When you drive, you can't see those things.
Right, right.
But you get to see the landscape.
So it's not that you're not able to see anything anymore, it's that you get to see different things.
Exactly.
Like you can't see that tiny dandelion like blooming through the crack in the road, but you get to see a vista that would be maybe hard to see if you were just walking.
Exactly. And when you fly, you can't see any of those things, but you get
Ah,
to
see a really
see
fucking cool aerial view.
an aerial view. If you go on a rocket ship, you can't see the aerial view of
Well,
Grand
you get to
Canyon.
see the earth.
Exactly, right? So, with every speed, there's a new vantage point. But if I'm comparing walking to a rocket, it's just unimaginably fast. But if I'm comparing a fighter jet to a rocket, it's like comparable. So, right now, what we're experiencing is this sudden whiplash.
Yeah, it's very whiplashy.
Sudden, oh, I was going 5 miles an hour and then now I'm going 600 miles an hour.
Right. It's very much like that. And so there's all these ramifications from the shock of the sudden change.
And that, I think, is something that people will have to get used to, which brings me to an interesting kind of observation that I've had. I'm experiencing a lot of people's personal reactions to AI. And this is very interesting. I see people tiptoeing around AI. If it's not too much for you,
Yeah.
like, can you do this? There's a lot of fear around, am I allowed to ask this? And that is something I also experienced like the beginning of this month when I started my, ventures into AI. Like, wow, am I allowed to ask this? And I think that's the old speed talking, right?
Mm.
So it's like, if I'm riding a bike, whoa, can I go 100 miles? Like, I feel like I would die,
Yeah,
right?
I feel like I'm breaking some kind of natural law.
Right. But if you're in a car, if you're in
Yeah,
a speeding car in California, like you can
of
go
course.
100 miles, right?
Yeah.
So asking AI for permission I think that is a really cool observation that I'm seeing in terms of like speed adjustment. Another thing I would like for the people to keep in mind as they are trying to practice more mindful usage of AI is I'm not talking about the coaching or therapy conversations you have with AI, but how you interact with AI when you are able to look at yourself. It can be a great exercise in mindfulness.
What do you mean by that?
So, I have a funny story. I give a lot of engineering tasks to my AI agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the AI agent says, hey, it's done. And I go in to verify it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I asked it to do 10 things. And it always does like 90% of them
Uh-huh.
and doesn't do the one.
Yeah.
And it tells me it's done. So I'm like, hey, this isn't done. You have to finish things before you tell me you're done. And then I noticed myself over multiple days getting ticked off at this.
Yeah. Like, what's wrong with
Right,
you?
right. But there's other problems too. Sometimes it takes too slow. Sometimes it
Yeah.
has an unexpected output. Those things I don't have a problem with. But when it tells me it's done without it being completely done, for some reason it pisses me off. So because I'm so actively watching myself, I find this fascinating. Why do I get angry at this one
Yeah.
in particular?
Yeah.
And you know what I realized?
What?
When I was working as a software engineer, my manager would give me a bunch of tasks. And I look at the task and I solve the really difficult task, right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm the best. I tell my manager, like, oh, it was so hard, but I did it. It's done. And the manager looks at it and is like, what about this part?
Yeah. There are four other things on the list.
And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
did the hard thing. What the fuck? Yeah, that takes fucking 5 minutes. It's not even considered work.
Yeah.
Like, give me some credit for the actual difficult work that I did,
Yeah.
right? So now I'm recognizing, oh my god, I'm meeting my karma.
Yeah.
So it's basically, now that I'm technically the manager for this AI agent,
Yeah.
I get to, and now I'm thinking, oh my god, I was a horrible employee, right? I kept on saying to my managers, this is done, when it's not.
Right. So what's the lesson here for folks?
So the lesson here is I got to understand because I was mindful throughout my usage of AI, right?
Mm.
In mindfulness, you have to first understand what your calm state feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get overly excited about something, then you're not at your calm state.
Yeah, whether you're
When
overexcited in a good way or
or
you're
a
agitated, angry, whatever. Yeah.
right. And when you notice yourself in that altered state using AI,
Mm.
it's a great opportunity to learn more about yourself that you wouldn't have had the chance to if it weren't for this chance.
You're always being given information about who you are.
Right.
And if you don't notice it, then the pattern will just keep running as it has been
Mm-hmm.
programmed, then you'll never have the
Mm-hmm.
chance to interrupt it.
Right. So that's basically AI and karma in a anecdote.
You also said some things about karma, like societal karma,
Right.
right?
Societal karma we kind of covered when we talked about like how,
Like how we want easy and fast and cheap and
right, what
yeah.
we value. And so AI agents, how they reply, it's gonna differ culture by culture.
Mm.
So, I'm learning French these days. And so sometimes, because I need to create some French resources for myself to practice, I can notice that the tone, obviously, because it's a different language, is different.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Korean, right?
Mm.
In Korea, people have an allergic reaction to overly pandering, like kiss
Mm-hmm.
ass, right?
Psychopathy. Yeah,
But at the same time, Korea kind of values that. It's like modesty. It's like lowering yourself. It's humble.
yeah.
But in America, people have a more, pronounced like yuckiness to it because like, oh, why is it kissing my ass so hard? So basically how language specific agents will develop is going to be largely shaped by societal karma. societal patterns, and with the more data set it gets based on the direction that it wants to go to.
Yeah.
So basically, it's going to amplify the existing patterns, which is kind of a dangerous thing too. We talks about marginalized people will and marginalized topics will even further marginalized.
Hmm.
Sensationalist and hot topics will be even hotter and more sensational.
I think so more than ever before in history, we need like people in calm states.
Right. All the things that are happening in the world right now is a result of people suffering.
Yeah.
Trying to resolve it by addressing the symptom instead of trying to find the root cause.
Yeah.
And root cause, again, the same reason for suffering
It's in your
is
mind.
value system, how we attribute meaning to things. But again, that is ironically what sets us apart. No matter how much AI mimics us, we give meaning to things. It's a beautiful thing when you can hold that power in a beautiful way.
Hmm.
It is a reason to suffer when you are misguided in that power.
Oh, mic drop. Okay, that feels like a really beautiful place to land. Is there anything that like you were dying to talk about that we haven't covered?
No, actually, I think we started with the topic that I was dying to cover, in that we have to start thinking about social safety nets
Okay.
for people whose identities will be compromised, people who cannot generate human information because
Right.
of disabilities or other kinds of impediments. It would be great if we can use AI to create these safety nets because it gives us more power to do that. The average human is much more powerful now,
One of
technically.
the ideas that I got like the most excited about was the potential of using AI profits to institute universal basic income systems. I know that we're probably in reality kind of far from being able to see it instituted at a big scale, but I think that is really, really, really exciting possibility.
I have a deaf friend, and so making videos for my friend is so much harder because captioning system relies on voice,
Mhm.
but my friend can't speak. So every time my friend makes a reel and signs, I have to go through the process of manually captioning everything. When everybody else just clicks a button and moves on.
Right, right, right.
So compare the volume of videos and reels and materials my friend is able to produce versus the volume of things that other people are able to produce. Which reminds me of one topic, sorry, that I'm kind of dying to talk about.
Okay.
Slop. One man's slop. You can call it a slop, but it doesn't mean that it is actually a slop.
Because,
Because you never know what that generated output can inspire in another human being. So, what I generate, somebody can classify as slop. What anybody makes, like a cat video that my dad makes,
mhm.
I can call it slop. I can say, Dad, stop making slop.
Like,
But to my dad, it's a creative output
yeah.
that can inspire him to think more about the art that he wants to create, right?
You know, I that's such a good point. I completely agree. I think what people are doing nowadays is anything that they don't like or they don't agree with, they're like, "Oh, that's AI slop." It's like, "No, you just don't like it."
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny like how insults change with the times because like
Mm-hmm.
when a post of mine goes viral, which has been happening often recently for some mysterious reason, I get tons of trolls that like are they're not my followers, or it's like random, they don't even have profile pictures, and they'd be like, oh, AI slop. But I'm like, you just I wrote it, you just don't like it. I think people don't talk about kind of the moral problems that come with dismissing, right, another person's creative activity. And I am very guilty of this because everything dad makes, I'm like, Dad, just stop. This is why are you doing this? But but you're very right. I think there's a lot of judgment, like, oh, you shouldn't play with AI to do this and that. It's you're just making a slop. But to that person, like you don't know what that means to them, what that's inspiring in them. Of course, everyone has a right to their own value judgments, but it's kind of like moral absolutist for you to say
Right.
it has value because it meets my criteria for value.
Right,
And
right,
I think
right.
ultimately that's kind of not a great way to think.
Right. So this comes full circle because now Slop being dismissive
Yeah.
indicates that even when we're using AI,
Yeah.
we want it to look pretty.
Yeah. 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 And
Even when we're
sophisticated
using
and
it, we want it to be sophisticated and
yeah.
professional, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, our attachment to value systems. That is really the key point that I would like for everyone to take away from this episode.
Thank you so much, Billy. Where can people find you?
JulyLifeCoach.com has a new website that's so streamlined. You can find everything about everything I offer at JulyLifeCoach.com.
I still think you should change your branding name too.
You remind me every single time.
Your name. Okay, but that's my value system. It's not yours, so I'm gonna shut up about it for now. Okay, thank you so much again. You are so
Okay.
wise, and I love you, and we'll talk to you next time.
Love
Bye.
you too. Bye.